All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Slam podcast. I am your host Bajo, and today I have a very special guest on. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
My name is Christopher Yang, one of Bajo's childhood friends, and some could say, or we do say, best friends.
Best friends. We besties. So we met we met at first grade at Evergreen Elementary School, and then I remember it was the first day of recess.
Yep.
And then I'm pretty sure we were by the slides or something.
Yep.
And then you just came up to me. You called me a muppy.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you right away. I think I said I was gonna tell on you.
Yeah, I got super scared. Yeah,
but I never. But I never did though. So yeah, and then we've been best friends ever since. So, man, how long ago was that? Like 20.
15, 17 years?
No, because that was when we were like 6 years old. So I think it's been like 20 years, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's been like 2 decades already. Damn, we're old. So best friends for 20 years, ever since we were 6 or 5, whatever. Yeah. So we went to basically went to elementary school, junior high, high school together, and then we graduated in 13. And we both joined the military. So I joined during high school, and I left in the summer. And then I think you joined, was it a year after I did?
Initially I was trying to get everybody to get wavered in for legal issues, but
oh yeah.
that was the whole process. But then it took me about a few months after, probably 6 months after you got in and finished basic.
I think it might have been longer, right? Because I came back from basic training at that time, and then you left. So because I was gone.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because I was gone for 8 months because I got injured.
Yeah, and then you came back for holiday black leave.
Yep, came back for HBL, and then
after that you left, and I left in April.
Oh yeah, so I was back for a month before you left or something.
Yeah, that's 2014 that I left.
Dude, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, dude.
That was 8 years ago.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, how have you been, man? Feel like I haven't seen you in a long time.
Pretty good. Still working hard. Nothing really too crazy.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep up with the rest of the guys. So.
I haven't really asked you, but what's it like being a homeowner?
Oh, that.
I'm so jealous, bro. You got a nice house.
I mean, it has its challenges. It's nice and all, but there's so much to take care of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
My roof just got damaged.
So oh yeah, I saw that. I totally forgot.
It's a process because. Yeah, so I'm through Progressive, and the lady, the adjuster that's taking care of my house, my roofing damage for the claim, she fell off the face of the earth. Hasn't got back to me.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so I had to call the actual place, and they said that, oh yeah, she doesn't work here anymore.
What the? You guys didn't bother to tell us sooner?
Yeah, right. This is important matters. You should probably take care of it. Yeah,
they fucked you guys over.
Yeah, so they're getting someone else up, and someone new is going to be taking over that claim. So
yeah, you would think that when that person left or got fired or whatever they did, that the job that they had, the clients that they had or whatever before they left, they would have given it to other people.
Yeah, exactly.
To take care of that matter, but
she must have left on bad terms.
Who knows, man?
Yeah.
So you joined the Army in 2014, and you went for what was your MOS again when you first joined?
I first enlisted as a 25 Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
That's a information technology specialist.
Yeah. So what did that job entail?
So basically, it's just IT work, doing help desk, and basically touching computers and fixing it.
Sounds like a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, so much fun.
Sounds like a lot of killing that you would do, Call of Duty style.
Yeah, keyboard warrior.
Dude, I remember when we went to Fort McCoy. You remember, we would drive past, your guys's, I forgot where you guys were set up, your company. But you guys had AC in your tents?
Oh, yeah, we had those talks.
Yeah, you guys had those talks.
So they're
and you guys
little
had AC.
igloo-looking tents.
Yeah.
And then they're powered by, trailer generators, so they're pretty big. And they diesel fuel. So
Yeah.
every like couple hours we'd have to go out there and fill them up with diesel.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But it was nice to have a tent and with like AC and all that stuff.
Yo, because it was hot as fuck.
Yeah.
So like basically what I'm talking about is like sometimes we would run into each other at Fort McCoy when we would do our annual training. So that's like our 2 or 3 weeks out in the field during the summer. So like we would drive past them once in a while, and this was like maybe 5 or 6 years back, a long time ago. And then we saw like these really nice igloo-looking tents, like these tan tents, and there were these giant generators outside. We're like, like what the fuck is that? And then one of my guys told me that they're for the AC. Yep. I'm like, these guys get AC? What the hell are they doing all day in there? Could have thought like it could have sworn it was the Air Force or something. But like for us, we were like the fucking ground pounders out there, and like
I felt bad for you guys.
Yeah, I felt bad for myself too. that grunt lifestyle, that, you know, like just camping out in the woods for 2 weeks and showering maybe at once every 4 days or something like that. And like, because we did missions like every couple hours.
Oh yeah.
All day, every day. Or at least there was like a whole week where we did that. And like the missions were nonstop. You know, you walk like 30, 45 minutes to the location of your mission, and then you do that for I don't know how long. Could be a couple hours, could be like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you come back, rest for like an hour, and you go back out in the field for a few hours, and you come back and like you just do it over again. So so like for me, for you guys who don't know, so I joined January 27th of 2013 during my senior year in high school, and I signed up to be a 12 Bravo combat engineer. And basically, I don't know how you would explain the job, but explosives.
Blowing shit up.
We make things go boom. We know how to make homemade explosives. Because I remember they taught us how to like ghetto rig explosides.
Yeah.
Like you jam like nails and like pellets, like
ball bearings
and you like tamp it and shit into like a canister of some sort.
But don't do that.
Yeah, but don't do that, guys. Okay. And then did you have to get security clearance when you reclassed to 12 Bravo?
I already had one. So for 25 Bravo, you have to get a. It's not a top. It's a secret. Yeah, just a regular secret clearance.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm pretty sure 12 Bravos have that too, right?
Yeah, we did have to go through security clearance, but I don't know if it's a secret clearance or if it was just a confidential clearance.
Oh, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm I'm not sure either. But I do remember that we had to do a security clearance. And like when me and Yipeng, and maybe even like Hong Ming, when we had to do our security clearance, we're like, we thought we were kind of in trouble. Because we're like, what do we have to go through security clearance for? And I guess apparently it's for, it depends on like the job that you choose in the military.
Yeah. And also like even to enter a talk or like anything like that in the, like those tents that we talked about, you'd have to have a security clearance to go into there.
Oh,
because all the information that's displayed while operating inside that tent, you know, you can't just have someone random or like without.
Yeah, that actually makes good sense.
Yeah.
So somebody told me that like I don't know if it's true or not, but somebody said that we had to get security clearance for combat engineers because like if a homemade explosion or something went off, like a bomb went off within a 100-mile radius or something, they would like contact you or something. I don't know how true that is. I feel like that's just a lie.
Okay, this is kind of sketch, but I ran into a guy at a bar. It's intermission downtown 400 block Wausau, and he was a 12 Bravo too. And then he was telling me, yeah, dude, you're 12 Bravo too. I'm like, yeah. And then he was like, man, we're on a watch list. You know that? I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Like, he's like, yeah, like, don't you know all 12 Bravos, since we deal with explosives and stuff, we're automatically put on a watch list. I'm like, I mean, it sounds reasonable, but I don't know, man.
Yeah,
we're at a bar. I just met you. It's kind of sketchy, dude.
He's just like drunk talking. He's just bullshitting you, trying to make small talk. See, yeah, after all these years, I still don't really know why we had to go through a security clearance. I'm pretty sure our recruiter told us why. Well, you know what? Actually, I don't think Muggy fucking told us shit.
Nope.
So he just said, "Oh, well, you guys have to go through a security clearance," and we're like, "Okay." And like we're scared. We're a bunch of like scared young 17, 18-year-old kids
Yeah.
still going to high school, and we're like, okay, we got to go through a security clearance, but why? So like 12 Bravo training was pretty short. It was like 4 or 5 weeks. But then I think when you first joined, how long was your 25 Bravo training? Like a few months, right?
Ooh, AIT was 20 weeks.
20 weeks.
20 weeks.
4 months?
Yep.
4.5 or like maybe 4.5 months or something like
Just
that.
around there, yeah.
Yeah.
So on top of that was basic training. So that was like 30 weeks total. That shit was.
So 7.5 months basically.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel you, man. I was gone for like 8 months, but that was because obviously I got hurt.
Yeah, but you got a good pay out of it.
I got good pay out of it, dude.
Yeah.
I got paid pretty good to be other companies' bitch for a few months until a new cycle came through. So that was a really shitty part of basic training. But so like speaking about basic, you have any you have any funny stories? I know those couple that you told me about.
Yeah, man.
Where like you guys snuck like pizza or food into the barracks.
That was AIT.
Oh, it was AIT?
Yeah.
And you guys like used a rope or something?
Okay, well, I'll tell one from basic first, and
Yeah.
I'll get to that one.
Yeah.
So in basic, one time we were in reception.
Yep.
So that's like when we first arrived to the actual basic training site. Well, not really, but like that's where you get in process. So we had so all day it's like you're basically walking in, taking turns, turning in paperwork, and basically doing all that jumbo mumbo shit.
Yep.
So, and then we'd have like breakfast every morning, so we can get so breakfast chow. They usually have like a layout of snacks, like cereal and stuff. So, fast forwarding during that day, some guy was walking to the station and he had like because the cargo pockets for the ACUs,
Yeah,
like, you can hold so much shit.
Yeah,
there.
dude, for real.
Yeah, so he was fumbling through there, like trying to pull out his dog tags or something when they're supposed to be on your neck.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had like a bunch of cereal, like, those round ones. I'm like, he had like 4 of them, and they just fell everywhere. And then like the drill sergeant's like fucking chewed them out. It's crazy. It kind of reminds me of your story when the Nutrigrain bars.
Yeah, the Nutrigrain bars. Yo, that was like a treat back at basic training, man. Getting Nutrigrain bars at the DFAC every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was funny. And like I said, I don't really remember if we got in trouble for it. But then, like, we were all in a formation. We were right next to our barracks. And then somebody said, oh, shit, a drill sergeant caught somebody with Nutrigrain bars from the DFAC. So everyone's, like, fumbling their fucking pockets trying to get Nutrigrain bars out.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, shit. So, like, they were chucking it, like, 2-3 stories high into the windows of the barracks. And, like, the windows of the barracks didn't have screens.
Yeah.
It was just,
Straight out.
you just open the window and you can just jump out. And then a lot of people missed, so like it fell into the grass and they'll run into the grass, Sergeant Major's grass, and then they'll like try to chuck it again. But I don't think we really got strip searched or anything, because I think the drill sergeant just came by and said like if he sees anybody with Nutrigrain bars, he's gonna like smoke the shit out of us. So that was pretty funny, but I was scared shitless at that point because I'm like, dude, we're gonna get fucked.
What phase was that?
It was during reception.
Oh, that's when shit happened.
Yeah, like people were already stealing shit at reception and bringing contraband into the barracks.
Damn.
I'm like, guys, we have a week here at reception. Like, don't fuck it up.
You guys haven't even started yet, basically.
Yeah, that was week 0.
Damn.
So yeah, contraband is like a very normal thing of basic training, because like that wasn't the first time that we had contraband.
Like contraband even turns into currency at one point.
Yeah, dude, for real, it turns into currency, and like people will buy that shit too.
Yep.
And they'll give you a lot of money.
And I've seen Skittles sold for like $40.
Holy shit! See, people hustle in basic.
Yep.
But that's because you're like a lot of these people that went to basic training, they were grown-ass adults with grown-ass bills, and they would come in as privates and didn't get paid shit.
Yeah.
Because they paid us like, what, $1,400 a month? Or something like that?
Yeah.
Was it a month or was it
I don't
bi-weekly?
remember, honestly. It was We always got paid 1st and 15th
Yeah,
every month, and then I think it was like $600. These are like $1,200.
a month, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we didn't get paid shit
it's pretty.
in
Yeah,
in basic training, and so like I think people, like for them it was very important for them to hustle at basic training, and like I told in one of my previous stories, there was a time where I don't know what it was, but like drill sergeants they treated us out to like a meal outside or something like that for whatever reason, and so we had food catered to us, and they had these giant Rice Krispie bars. Like it was like a 4x4 freaking crispy bar, so it was huge. And the bottom layer of the Rice Krispie had chocolate glazed on it, and so I ate mine, and then somebody that was eating next to, he's like, "Hey, anybody want my Rice Krispie bar? Because I don't like Rice Krispies." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll buy it from you." He's like, "Yeah, how much?" $5. $5 for a Rice Krispie bar where you could just go to the store and get that for like $1.50
yeah,
or something.
probably.
And because I was so desperate, I'm like, "Yo, I haven't had anything sweet in so long." Scratching my neck, like I got addictions and stuff. I'm like, "Yo, give me that shit. I'll give you $5 for it." And so, yep. So people did sell a lot of shit in basic training. They stole stuff from like the MREs and they would bring it back to the barracks. And then you'd see people
all the
snacking on like
time.
Twizzlers and shit.
And like even peanut butter that it was.
Yeah, like even peanut butter too.
Oh.
So yeah, contraband, man, and dude, people snuck shit in all the time.
Yeah.
And for the people like when we would go on pass, there were some people who were really scared of getting caught with contraband. So then they would pick locations to hide their contraband, like chewing tobacco and cigarettes. There was one time where I was walking with a couple of my battle buddies, and we were walking back to the barracks from the PX, and there were there were these orange cones like laid out on the side of the road. He took his can of dip and he hid it under
Like a damn squirrel.
yeah. Yeah, it's like a squirrel like hiding his nuts and stuff. So he hid his can of dip under that one cone, and I don't know, dude, it was like really hot too, so I'm pretty sure, because you have to wait till next week, right, to go on pass. So I'm pretty sure that entire week that can of dip was sitting there, it was like fermenting in the heat.
Extra strength, man.
That would get you a good buzz. And so next weekend when we went to go find it, it was gone. We're like, where the fuck did it go? We're like, who the hell would take it? And that was like, the cones are right in front of, I think, like one of these civilian businesses or something, like on base. And it was actually right across the Marine barracks.
Oh yeah.
So the Marines of the Ozarks, so like they had barracks there.
Okay. Like active duty Marines.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know. I'm like, dude, what if one of the Marines stole your can of dip? Like they're just looking out the window outside of their barracks, like, dude, look at these fucking trainees in the army hiding a can of dip before they go back. They just snuck over like across the road and stole that can of dip. But yeah, we never found it again.
Damn.
So then ever since, people, so like, you know how we couldn't wear our spandex like under our ACUs, and you had to wear your brown thunders, but like nobody cared anyways, and like everyone wore their spandex. So like, since spandex are such like form-fitting clothing, people would stick their contraband. Like,
okay.
People in their spandex because they didn't, they didn't get checked like by like their crotch area.
Desperate times, man.
Yep, calls for desperate measures. And so people were sticking cans of like chewing tobacco and like, mainly chewing tobacco into their crotch. And because every time we came back from pass, we would always get patted down, and then we had to empty out our pockets and then put the contents into our PC and like show our drill sergeants like what we brought and stuff like that.
Damn.
So, and then after that, we'd get patted down, and then nobody got caught every time we got patted down after pass. But then people got caught when they left that shit lying around in the barracks. So,
Worst mistake.
about how we got caught with chewing tobacco and stuff like that, and then there was like a porn magazine. But I'm pretty sure because like everybody thought that it was the holdovers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we had like pretty shitty holdovers. I mean, I was a holdover too, but I wasn't a piece of shit. So, yeah, some of our holdovers were shit bags, and so we just pinned it on them.
It was those guys, man.
But for real, it was me. No, I never brought contraband back to the barracks because I was scared. I didn't want to get in trouble for that.
Yeah, dude. Like one time, this one guy, like he had like we had a walkthrough, like barracks inspection and all that, and then the drill sergeants found a condom, like a lot of them, like like those you pull it out, there's like a whole string of them. Yeah, and then after like we got like first formation, drill sergeants were like, forgot his name. They're like, all right, come up here. And then so he came up there, and then they're like, we found so and so's condoms. Wonder what you guys been doing in the barracks this whole time. I'm like, oh hell no, dude. That's my barracks. Oh man, that was funny. Man.
Dude, drill sergeants, they say the funniest shit sometimes, and like they're serious about it too. Yeah. But I think you become like so numb to like how they treat you that sometimes the shit that they say just comes out funny now. Yeah. But yeah, those were good times, man.
Oh yeah.
I always tell people that I would do it all over again if I had the chance. Like if I had to go back in time and I could make things different, I would be like, yeah, I'd go the basic again. That was a really fun experience.
I would, because it's like now it's so easy.
Yeah, it's like super easy.
It's pass or fail, to be honest.
Yep. So, I think there was a time where you told me that one of the guys in your bay got like the shit beat out of him.
I was just gonna tell that one because like I was itching to tell it.
So tell everybody that story.
Okay, so he's probably not gonna hear this anyways, but his name is O'Kelly. All right, this guy, man, I swear, he was a piece of shit the whole time we were in basic training. So like, he would just rat people out for doing like the dumbest shit, just like shamming and stuff. And then, I don't know, he's like the type of person that would be like, "Oh yeah, teacher, aren't you gonna collect the homework?" That
No,
type
he's
of
that
person.
kind of guy.
Yeah. So one day, so I was in 3rd platoon, and then we shared barracks with 4th platoon males, because our females all stayed in the 3rd platoon barracks.
Mm-hmm.
So, or bay. And then, so, it was like getting close to lights out, which is like probably like 1100, so late as fuck.
Yeah, that's pretty late.
Yeah, because I think we just got back from a like field training, FTX or something. And then I heard like, I was like done brushing my teeth, so I came out into the bay, and then I heard like a bunch of commotion, like kind of like whispering. It'll be like, "Oh yeah, dude, like shit's gonna go down." I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So like me and my bunkmate, he's from Ethiopia, so he was there to get his citizenship, and he's like, "Yang, what going on?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. Just stay in your bunk." It was like Squid Games, dude.
Holy shit,
I swear, dude. That's how I relate to it now. Like, man, it couldn't be any more than Squid Games. It was just like that. But then, as soon as the lights kicked off, dude, like, I heard people running. We had foam rollers in the bay. You could hear shit smacking. They're like, "Man, fuck you, O'Keefe," or no, O'Kelly. Like fuck you, and like the worst part of it was he was kind of like he had. I think we just got back from like a 6-mile foot march too.
Yeah.
That day, so he had like blisters on his foot, so he had crutches and shit. Dude.
Oh shit!
So he was already handicapped. And then they did the old like, what is it? The bar of soap and the socks,
Oh,
they did that shit too,
dude.
And I was like, damn, dude, I kind of felt bad. Like he was a piece of shit, but like he was.
But like even he didn't deserve that, maybe. Well, maybe he did.
He
Okay.
Like, so like after that, he was like crying. He's like, man, fuck you guys. Man, fuck you guys. So we're like in the middle level. And then he like walked downstairs by himself, like limping and shit. And then, okay, it's funny, you gotta admit. But then yeah, so he went downstairs to get the drill sergeant that was on CQ.
Mm-hmm.
So the drill sergeant came up, woke everyone up, and then he was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then he was like, "I understand that you guys don't like him, but the thing comes down to this: if you guys are all on the same page, it didn't happen."
Just let it slide.
Even the drill sergeant knew that guy was a piece of shit. Because you gotta be a team player when it comes to like this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if you're shitting on your own battle buddies and stuff, then that makes you a liability.
Blue Falcon.
Yeah. Because you gotta have each other's backs.
Yep.
So that's what the drill sergeant was kind of aiming at too. Like, he needs to learn from that. But then, yeah, man, that was the story of O'Kelly getting beat up.
I'm pretty sure that the drill sergeant told the other drill sergeants
Yep.
about how O'Kelly got beat up. And they probably all laughed about it.
Like, oh, damn, about time.
About damn time somebody put him in his place.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I know conduct like that is something that's frowned upon, but I mean, shit like that does happen though.
Yeah.
And that's like what I talked about in my previous episode about basic training, where you don't want to stand out like a sore thumb because you want to make friends in basic training, because at that point, like, you only have each other.
Yep.
And it's like I say, basic training is like prison.
Dude.
Like, you have no internet, you have no cell phones.
You count the days down.
You count the days down until you get out, and like on top of that, you're wearing your prison uniform. every
roster
single day.
number and everything.
Yeah, they give you a number and everything, and like everything's in like a very orderly fashion, and so yeah, you really, at the end of the day, you really have each other only.
Mm-hmm.
The only time that you really get with your family is like when you write letters home, or if you're lucky enough, you can get to talk to them on the weekends when you get your phones back on pass. But basic training is like all about building that team cohesion and really instilling like teamwork, because they'll always tell you that there's no I in team, right? And there's no more I or me, it's us.
Yep.
And so, yeah, man, there are always those shitbags. Like, no matter what cycle, because I went through 2 cycles.
Yeah.
There's always shitbags. There's always like
Always.
really shitty people, the troublemakers. But you just got to deal with them. And your guys dealt with them like Squid Game. Lights go out and chaos ensues. It's funny because it took me a really long time to watch Squid Game.
Yeah.
Because I don't like jumping onto the bandwagon.
Yeah, like it was really all hype.
Yeah.
But then it was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I actually I binged watched it like 2 months ago, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So very recent. And I'm like, damn, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really excited for season 2. And I think season 2 is coming out
right.
this October or something.
I think so. I heard about it.
Yeah. I watched the final episode where he's at the airport, the main guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's on the phone with the people who are like doing the Squid Game.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy with the mask, he's like, just get on that plane and do what's best for you.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what, fuck this. He turns around. I'm like, oh shit, dude, he's gonna bring them down next season, dude. He's gonna try to bring those guys down. So I'm like, I'm super excited for Squid Game.
Yeah.
But I liked it a lot more, like way more than I thought I would. And because like I think the character development was pretty good. The main character, you see him turn into like this nobody.
Yeah.
Or he turns into a nobody, but he starts out as a nobody, and he turns into like a team player. Yeah. And he actually turns out to be like a really reliable and a very smart person.
Yeah.
Even like with his setbacks, like, because I think he was a really big gambler, right?
Yep.
So like he gambled his money away, and like his mom's money away. He lost his job, and then he has like his daughter that he always seems to let down.
Yeah.
And then you see him develop into this character that succeeds very well in the Squid Game, but that's like But then also he had like a lot of help from like the other side characters too.
Mhm.
And, like I think the side characters were very likable too. And then you have like all the twists where the guy with the glasses, like,
Yeah.
the guy that he knew, he was like
Turned
nice
on
the
him,
whole
yeah.
He was like nice the entire time, helped him out the entire time until he saw where he was put into in a position where he had to really fend for himself.
Yep.
So that he screwed over Ali
Oh yeah.
during the marbles game.
Yep.
So that was really sad.
Yeah.
I was like super sad. So because Ali was a really likable character.
He's that Indian guy. Right?
Yeah. Yep. So no, he's from Pakistan, I think.
Oh yeah.
Right? Was it Pakistan? I think it's Pakistan. So like Ali was a very likable character. But yeah, they were all like really likable characters. And then the fucking old dude, man.
Yeah.
You know how sad I was when he pretended that he had like Alzheimer's, like his Alzheimer's
Oh
kid
yeah.
or whatever
Yep.
during the marbles game.
Mhm.
And then he's like, "All right, I'll let you have my my marbles or something." And then the main guy was like crying or whatever, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Dude, that's so sad."
And then they pulled the screen away, and then they shot
Yeah.
the old guy.
They just shoot like a blank at him.
I have blanks. Actually.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
So yeah, Squid Game was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so like so that guy gets the shit beat out of him in basic
Yeah.
training, and then so like you go to AIT. I remember you telling me the story where you guys couldn't have food in the barracks, right? But then you
Yep.
guys ordered food.
Like we can order food during the day and stuff. And
Okay.
then we just can't bring it to the barracks,
Yeah.
like inside our rooms.
Okay.
So this is at the new buildings, kind of like how you guys described the starships.
Mm-hmm.
So they have this side railing on there. So after, because we basically have a curfew, so every time we come in, we're supposed to be in our rooms by like, let's say 08.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Or
fuck,
like
2000.
yeah.
Yeah, so man,
It's been a while.
yeah, dude. So 2000, say we gotta be in our barracks, and then before that, let's say I ordered Chinese food and it's just arriving late. So me and my buddies were pretty cool with this Chinese dude and his restaurant. So
Mhm.
like I had him on speed dial and everything. So I called him. I was like, "Hey, Mr. Lin, you gotta help me out. We gotta do a little sketchy shit, you know." So he was like, "Okay, I got you, Yang." And then so what we got was some 550 cord, and then like we tied a knot, and then we just let it down. So the guy kind of ran to the side of the building.
Uh-huh.
'Cause we're on the second floor. So he just like tied a knot around the food. It was all bagged up, and then we had like the iced tea in that bucket thing, you know.
Mhm.
And then we pulled it up, and then we're all like, "Man, we're so happy and so grateful for that guy, though." But dude, that shit.
Dude, he busted
the
a whole
times,
ass
man.
mission for you
Hell
guys.
yeah,
Like a
dude.
whole ass Mission Impossible.
Yep.
You guys should have played the Mission Impossible music while while you guys were out. While you guys were like hanging your heads out of the window.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy's badass, man. Pulling a mission for privates in AIT,
Yep.
knowing that he might get busted too. Well, I mean, he's a civilian. What's the worst they can do?
for
Yeah.
him, but for us.
Yeah. It's a different story.
Yeah. And then we got put on lockdown for about 3 weeks
Mhm.
because we had there's a group of privates that went off base. They rented a hotel and had an orgy.
Oh yeah,
And then they recorded it, and then they tagged the brigade Facebook page in there, and then
oh my god, by accident?
yeah, no, on purpose.
On purpose?
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
like, dude,
god.
you guys are stupid. So we couldn't do anything. We had to literally be like kids the whole 3 weeks. So we couldn't order food or anything.
Mhm.
So after that was over, I called the Chinese guy again to get Chinese food, and he was like, "Yang, how are you? You okay?" I was like,
You haven't called me in
"Man,
3
dude,
weeks.
yeah." He was like worried about me and stuff, man. But that was great, dude. That guy was good shit.
Did you die? No, we were put on lockdown because some people had an orgy at a hotel. Oh. Anyways, you want to order some food?
For real, dude.
He's out here trying to get his money.
Yeah.
When you say lockdown, it reminds me, because like with this whole like COVID pandemic and shit and us being on lockdown, it reminds me of an outbreak that we had in basic training. Where there was
yeah.
there was a pink eye outbreak. I'm like, dude, who was the first zombie who had fucking pink eye and decided to spread it around the company?
That's gonna be the worst, man.
Yeah, and it hit all 3 platoons.
Yeah, because you guys are all basically sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, there were 3 floors, right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
first platoon had the first floor, second was second, third was the third floor, and then I don't know how that shit spread so quickly, but that thing spread like a wildfire. And then one day, one day, I woke up and my right eye was pink.
Oh,
I'm like, oh hell no, man! There's no way. Like, it was like I was like one of those victims in a zombie movie where I am slowly turning. I'm like, no, please, please don't be me.
Just shoot me now.
But no, because dude, like people were dropping like flies, like left and right, because
like mass casualties.
Yeah, there's like mass casualties because these people they just kept like spreading this pink eye around, and it was going by really fast. And I think pink eye is highly contagious.
Yeah.
And dude, when I saw these people with pink eye, man, they didn't look they didn't look human because like their eyes were all crusted, and then it was all like red and pink, and then there was like so much like pus buildup in their eyes,
Dude,
and like it got crusty. So like the crusty stuff would, like get into the eye and then it would irritate their eyes, so it'd make them cry. And they'd just be like walking around crying and shit, like, yo, you okay? Yeah, I got pink eye, man. I'm like, hell no, man, you stay far away from me. So I woke up with like a bloodshot eye, and it was like right before PT. So like I'm looking in the mirror while we're like conducting hygiene. I'm like, fuck no, man. And then we did PT, came back, and it was gone.
Oh, man.
I'm just like, it was probably just from sleeping or something. Yeah, so that was a relief. But yeah, like that pink eye shit, it was around for like a few weeks.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, and I think like over 20 people got pink eye, which is a lot amongst dude, that's a lot of people. Amongst a company of like 100 and I think there was like 150 of us. I think we started with 160.
Shit.
But yeah, that shit was nasty. I've never seen pink eye in the flesh until I went to basic training. I'm like, yo, there's some zombie. Yeah, there's like some zombie shit right here. It was really nasty. But so that was that nasty outbreak that we had, and then yeah, and then it never happened again. But I remember, I think one of my drill sergeants, Drill Sergeant Wambach, she was like, "What the hell are you guys doing that you guys are spreading this shit around so fast?" And I'm like, she's like, "You guys are literally in different platoons. Like, how the hell is it like jumping from platoon to platoon?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know." But it might have been because like we weren't supposed to go to each other's barracks or not barracks, each other's bays.
Yeah.
But we did it anyways.
Oh.
So that might have been how it spread.
Yeah.
And also because like every day, we're training with each other out in the field and stuff like that. But yeah, so that was that. So being in the Army, because you've been in the Army for
a little over 8 years.
8 years, yeah. So 8 years. So like, what are your thoughts about the Army so far? Like how is it treating you, and like what has it taught you really?
It honestly, it's been on my side lately, so it's panning out pretty good. The Army, it's really what you make it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you don't try, don't do anything, then it's probably gonna suck.
Mm-hmm.
But if you make the most out of it by like going to schools or kind of being inclusive into your team, then it kind of builds a whole new picture of kind of like it makes it a better experience because you're reacting with everyone. So I mean, like, and if you take advantage of the opportunities that are given to you, like let's say small schools, like you got, I hear the cold weather courses are pretty cool, like that stuff. So like,
I think you pinged one in that one.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so that actually looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So like, speaking about schools, how was aerosol, bro? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, man.
But the audience hasn't really heard anything about air assault, or I think a lot of people probably don't even know what air assault is.
So it's basically sling load operations and a little bit of Pathfinder operations. So sling loading is basically how I like to explain to civilians is you think about Call of Duty, you have that loadout drop in Warzone. So yeah, it's basically that package, but you're rigging it up to helicopters. That's sling loading. And then apparently air assault's supposed to be the Army's hardest 10 days that you go through. But really it's not that bad. Yeah. If I were to rate it 1 to 10, 10 being difficult, 1 being easy, I'd say a good 5 out of 10. So like it's a lot of mind games. And a lot of it is them messing with your head and putting you to the physical mental tests of trying to like, because they test you mentally by giving you a bunch of tests, and at the same time physically giving you a bunch of tasks like first day 0, just to be admitted into air assault school. Not only do you have to get the paperwork in, you got to do the O course, which is the obstacle course.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people fail the rope climb. Like that's something your unit has to get you up on first, and then before even coming to the school. That and what's a big one? The Jacob's ladder, that big tall one. They call it something else, air assault, but that one's kind of difficult, like for me to get to the top one until I figured out the little position. Because you can use the side beams, so you can grab that and kick your foot over.
Is it that giant wooden ladder that we had to climb?
Yeah, straight vertical.
And then it gets like the gaps get wider and wider the higher you go.
Yep.
Yo, in basic training, I was like scared shitless,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
Like my drill sergeant, he was up there and he was just like sitting up there,
Yeah.
like just looking at us, waiting for us to climb up. And dude, I was like fucking shaking, man. I'm like, I'm not a person. I don't like heights at all.
Yeah.
And like that's a great thing too, because in the Army, they teach you to get over your fears.
Yep.
Like it's either do or die.
Yeah.
And so I got over I'm still scared shitless of heights, but then when you're put in that position where you have to do it, then you just do it.
Yeah.
Like you don't think about it.
Like for my mentality, when I was up there on that ladder, I was like, this gap is kind of big, man. I'm just gonna send it. So I just jumped. I'm like, if I die, I die. Like that was my mentality through like all heights, like all the activities that included heights, like rappelling and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, if I fall, I fall, dude.
Yep.
Either way, I'm coming down.
That's true. I'm just gonna come down faster if I fail.
But yeah, during each obstacle, you have to run to each station. So like, I saw that a lot of people were like running kind of like slow and half-assed.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I was running like sprinting down to the next station, and then the instructor was like, "All right, since you showed me you could run so fast, you could run back over here." I'm like, "Oh hell no!" Because those fucking the pathway to the next station is all like these pebbles, so it's like you're running 1 step forward and 2 steps backwards, basically. Worse than sand.
It's kind of like running on a treadmill, in a
Yeah.
way.
In incline.
But then there's I was gonna say there's just more resistance to it. Feels like you're kind of moonwalking forwards.
Exactly, dude. Just like
I get that, man.
But yeah, after the old course, you wait for everyone to finish, and then you do the 2-mile run under 18 minutes. That you have running shoes on and uniform, trousers, and just tan t-shirt. So you do that. Like 2 miles is okay, like nothing, but then the course there was like 2 uphills, like hella steep, dude. And then it's not only that, but you have to run it 2 laps, so that's 4 hills total. So that kind of sucks. But then I managed to get under, so I got around 16 minutes, so that was pretty decent.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yep. Then after that, you're pretty much done with day 0. that's probably the most exhausting day because
Yeah.
you're constantly moving all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you basically they make you do a layout of your rucksack, and you basically go through all the items that are on the packing list. And if you don't have something, they'll replace that with an MRE. So like if you don't have one, you're supposed to have a set of ear pro and a case. So if you're missing an ear pro and a case, then you're missing 2 items. So they give you 2 MREs for that. So that's significantly more weight that you're adding to your rucksack for the ruck marches. So yeah, but that's nice that they give you that chance to kind of fill in for your items that you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
That way you don't get dropped right away. But yeah, a lot of people drop just like that, just for not passing the run. Like, there's this more like athletic African American male that was like more in shape than I am. Like, dude, he failed the run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was pissed, dude. And I was just like, man, dude, I don't know what to say, man. You know, like, but it sucks, man. It sucks to suck.
And that's the thing about the military. You know, it's weird because there's some people where they look like they can't run at all.
Yep.
But those guys are pretty fast.
Yeah, dude.
Like those guys, they have the endurance.
Yep.
And they look like the most average,
And they probably
basic
smoke
dude.
like half a pack a day.
Yeah, those guys smoke like a chimney and they drink like a fish.
Yep.
And they still pass their 2-mile run with flying colors.
They'll run drunk.
Yeah, they'll literally run drunk, maybe puke halfway, and then keep going, and then by the end of the run they're sober.
Yep.
But yeah, I've seen so many people where, you know, they were like chubby dudes, but those guys could run pretty fast.
Yeah, dude.
And then I've seen plenty of people where they had the muscles, but they didn't have the cardiovascular endurance to make up for it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those guys they're really strong physically.
Straight up chads.
Yep, pretty much. But they don't have cardiovascular endurance at all, so they fail out on that. And then a lot of people are like, "Damn, this guy looks like he's so fit, but he can't pass his 2-mile run."
Yeah.
So I think that's like a very, very common thing. So
Definitely.
because like I think a lot of those guys they don't really do a lot of cardio training, but then they do a lot of like weightlifting.
Yeah, like bodybuilding.
Yeah, a lot of bodybuilding. So then they sacrifice one aspect of their physicality for another.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's to like achieve a certain look or to like compete in like competition or something.
Probably.
But then in the military you need both.
You need like everything.
Yeah, you need everything.
Yeah.
In terms of physical fitness. And so like when I went to basic training, there were like these guys who could bench like over 300 pounds. They failed their sit-ups or like push-ups.
Yeah.
Or even their run.
But yeah, like, I don't know. Some people didn't want to be there, so they just dropped out. Like
they just quit straight up.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, like, if you're going to do that, like.
In basic training?
No, in air assault, yeah. So air assault school, we had a few guys that just didn't care. They just didn't want to be there, so they just straight up dropped out and didn't do their job. So, like, what I got to say is, don't do that, because you're wasting a slot for someone that actually wants to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're just wasting money, first of all, wasting an opportunity for someone more motivated than you are.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be that piece of shit.
Yeah. Do you think people get voluntold to go to air assault?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
that too, though.
And so like why does the Army do that? Like sometimes when they tell people to
So I guess
go to schools
because they have like a number of slots that they can give away for each unit,
and like they try to get rid of it.
Yeah. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, even if I was voluntold to go, I would actually still try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might as well. I mean, you're going there. You might as well.
Yeah, like
try to earn that title.
Yeah. And then had a few privates there too, so that was nice.
That's good for them.
Yeah.
It looks really good on their track record.
Which is really hard to get a private to go to air assault.
Yeah, because you have like a lot of NCOs and officers, right, that go there.
Their highest ranking was a major.
Damn.
And then lowest ranking was a PFC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, speaking about like having a lot of NCOs and a lot of like commissioned officers even going to air assault. So you became an NCO. So like an NCO is just a non-commissioned officer in the military.
Yeah.
So Chris, you got promoted to sergeant like 3 years ago.
I'd say almost 2 years now.
2 years, almost 2 years.
October 29th
Mm-hmm.
of 2020.
So then, what kind of responsibilities did that entail for you?
Oh man, you gotta look after kids.
Babysitting, right?
Yeah.
I know how that feels.
Yep. You gotta know them inside and out, like where they live. Not
Mhm.
exactly where they live, but like general area. But then you gotta be there for them. Like they rely on you now to get information. So if they're not there, since you're in charge of them, then you get shit for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a lot of responsibility, but luckily for me, like I only had like 2 soldiers. And after that, it slowly grew. We lost one. And then we gained 2 more. So they're going up there. But it's hard to kind of keep up with them when they're kind of like not responding to you, and you kind of, it's like this whole aspect of leadership that you have to like encompass. And like sometimes they're non-compliant, so like it's really such a hassle. Because like I have one guy, he like, oh, I probably shouldn't get into that actually. We'll keep this offline for that part.
Keep that confidential.
But yeah, being a non-commissioned officer, it's a different animal from being lower enlisted.
Mm-hmm.
Because lower enlisted, you're told what to do, you just do it, you're good. But this one, you gotta kind of think on the fly, and basically you gotta, how do I say it? You gotta pizzazz it up a little bit.
And you have to kind of find like a good level of adaptability, because then when you're told something like, okay, I want you to tell your guys to get this done, and it has to be done in a certain way and within a certain time frame, and to do it now, like time now, right?
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, well, so you got to make a game plan on the spot. Be like, okay, we were told to do this, and then you got to think of a way to get that task accomplished. So then you're like, okay, we're gonna do it this way, and this way, and you do this, you do that, and get back to me when you guys get that.
That's
that
all
task done.
determined by MET-TC.
MET-TC. Yep. Go through what the acronym for what MET-TC stands for.
Fuck, it's M is.
If you don't remember, that's fine, because I barely remember either. You got to get your handbook out. Dude, I still have all my handbooks for like combat engineering and.
I'll edit that out. All right, so MET-TC. M is for mission, so like, all right, your thing that you're getting accomplished, so what you're told to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then enemy probably doesn't. Enemy is the objective. It's the thing you're tackling that's in the way, the obstruction of the mission. So you want to eliminate that. And then terrain, like, notice that this is geared towards missions and mission assets, but it could be used for simple planning, like eliminating tasks.
Yeah.
So yeah, mission, enemy, terrain, troops available, time, and civilian considerations. So like, troops available would be a good one to just for like a standard, okay, we got to get this done, because like you want to know how much people you can allocate to each like task and knock those out. Time hacks, pretty simple. And terrain, if there's a hill to the motor pool, don't send your fat guys out there. Make them do the simple shit. Hey, see? That's how you get it done.
Eliminating tasks, bro.
All right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that applies to the civilian world too.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I've never been in a leadership like position in the military, but out in the civilian world, I started working at the company that I work at now, and I became a team lead over there, and I manage a team over there. And when like shit goes down at work, you have to think of a plan on the spot. You have to be able to adapt quickly to your surroundings and your changing environment, because a lot of the times things don't go according to plan at work, And so you have to come up with a backup plan
Yeah.
and get that done as soon as possible, to kind of like divert any distractions or any like delays that we may have at work. And so I think that's one of the hardest parts about my job, or just any leadership role in general, where you're forced to think on the fly.
Yep.
And a lot of people can't do that, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. Not everybody's meant to be a leader.
Yeah.
And so I think when you are put in a position where you have to be a leader, it teaches you a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
And it can teach you a lot, like how you manage stress.
Yeah.
And how good you are with your communication skills to your team. And also how good you can keep your team put together too.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's really all about like building that team cohesion. And when you have a team under you, it's your responsibility to build that kind of cohesion between everybody. And so, like you said, it's a lot of babysitting too.
It kind of is.
Fuck, man, I work every single day. It's always a headache, man. Always. You have people who like don't show up to work, and it makes everyone's jobs a lot harder, because now you're short like 1 or 2 or 3 people. And for some fucking reason, it's always a Monday that everyone's gone. Yeah. Obviously, it's a Monday.
Hungover, dude.
Hungover, or
Sunday fun day.
Yep. Or people are just lazy, don't want to come to work. They want their weekend to last longer. I'm like, guys, we're all grown adults here. We all know what our responsibilities are. We all have bills to pay. And so it's important for you guys to show up to work. And also you have to think about your team members too. If you don't show up to work, then now you have just
put a shitload of work on your coworkers.
So it's like, don't put that kind of workload and stress onto your fellow coworkers.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, you'll tell people the same things over and over and over again. Well, you can't do this. Well, why? Because it's company policy. And then you tell them so many times, and a lot of people, they just don't listen. Yeah. It goes in one ear and out the other. And so you have to keep constantly reminding them about like things that they can and cannot do. It's like, guys, I've told you guys this how many times, and so
it feels like parenting, I guess.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, because I always like call them my kids. And like whenever I'm not at work, which is very rare, because I'm always at work. The only times when I'm not at work is like when I'm really sick.
Yeah.
And I only really like get sick like once a year, and it's always in the beginning of the new year that I always get sick. Always, for some reason. And so I'm usually gone quite a bit in the beginning of the year, like the first 2 months, because I'm always really, really sick. Yeah. And even when I come back to work, I'm still sick for like 2 or 3 weeks. And yeah, because I stay sick for a really long time. It doesn't matter like how much NyQuil or DayQuil I drink or Mucinex. Trust me, bro. I'll be sick for weeks on end.
Jeez.
And I don't know if I have a weak like immune system, or my recovery time is just
like a seasonal thing.
I think it might be
something small.
Yeah, something like that. So, but yeah. Anyways, like when I am gone from work and I'll come back, I'm like, hey, did you guys miss your dad?
Like, yes, Dad.
Yeah. Dude, some of my coworkers do say that. I'm like, get the fuck out of here right now.
Too far.
So, yeah, I mean, so I do, view it like that sometimes, where I have to babysit my kids. I mean, that's not to say that they can't be like proper, grown adults. Yeah. But it's just like a way of looking at it and kind of just poking fun at the idea.
Yeah.
So I definitely get it. So that's a struggle that any kind of leader goes through.
Oh yeah.
Really definitely. Just like managing a team and trying to do what's best for the group, and really trying to adapt to whatever comes your way. So there's a lot of bullshit in the Army, and just in the military in general. Like, who was that one commissioned officer a few months back, like late last year, where he called out poor leadership in the military?
Oh, that Marine?
Was he a Marine?
Yeah.
He was like a lieutenant colonel or something like that?
He was pretty high up there. Yeah. What was he? I think he was a lieutenant colonel.
A lieutenant colonel, right?
Yep.
And he did a video that went viral where he spoke out about poor leadership in the military and how too much shit gets overlooked,
Yep.
and that our leadership needs to be held accountable
Yep.
for those things. And
Which is like understandable because you think about who's to blame, like you can't just let it slide.
exactly.
But yeah, I was listening to the podcast on Black Rifle Coffee, and they brought that guy on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh damn! Now I got to go watch that.
Yeah.
I don't really listen to Black Rifle Coffee. I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of David So's Genius Brain podcast.
Oh, I haven't heard of
Yeah,
that.
so David So started a podcast like maybe a couple years ago, I think, maybe over a year ago or something like that. So I listened to his podcast, but mainly I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan because like the thing about Joe Rogan and why he's so popular is that he talks about everything.
Yeah,
like,
he's
anything
open
and
to
everything.
ideas.
Yeah, he's open to ideas, and when he brings on like two people where they have like two different views, he kind of acts like a mediator between the two, and he just kind of lets them like talk things out and like hash it out and stuff like that. So like he'll talk about stuff about like he'll talk about aliens, he'll talk about like politics, and he'll talk about COVID and psychedelics. What is it? He always talks about like he always seems to talk about LSD and shit.
Yeah, mushrooms. And
yeah,
stuff.
like ayahuasca or whatever you call it. So like that's what I really like about his podcast because he never runs out of ideas.
Yeah,
and he talks to like a lot of comedians too, and Joe Rogan's a comedian himself too. So I think a lot of people, they've told me that I should try and stick with one subject on my podcast. I'm like, I can't do that because when you talk about one podcast for so long, or like one subject in your podcast for so long, you start to run out of ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's only so much that you can talk about.
And like, let's say majority of the people that listen to this podcast, your friends, right? Mm-hmm. And your friends are all interested in different things. Mm-hmm. So like, you want to keep it like relevant to everyone.
Exactly.
So that's how you entertain.
That's how you entertain, man.
Yeah.
And also I like to bring new ideas to people, and in a way I kind of want to like change people's perspectives on certain things, whether that's like Hmong culture or the military. Like most of my podcasts I talk about like Hmong culture, relationships, and the military. I think my most popular episode is my scary one about like the paranormal like activities that I've experienced in my life.
The ghost girl in your corner.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I think because that video has the most likes so far. It doesn't have the most views, but it has the most likes. And so that tells you that a lot of people, they like that video.
They like scary shit.
Dude, people love to listen to scary shit. But the thing about that too is that like some videos you lose some of your viewership because some people are too scared to listen to like my scary episode. And then there's also some people who don't want to listen to me babbling on about like Hmong culture and how it has to change and stuff like that. So like to each their own. But then that's the thing though, you have some videos where people like a lot, and then you have some videos that others don't. But then the good thing about that is that they get to pick and choose.
Yeah.
And so
get that variety pack.
Yeah, so you have a variety pack, and then you can that's how you relate to a larger audience. And so yeah, like like I said, I like to talk about anything and everything. And so I want to bring on like a few. I do have a few guests in mind where I want to talk about like music and music producing and like aliens, and just talking about space, astronomy. It's like all that stuff. It's very like Joe Rogan-esque. Like it's really reminiscent of his podcast because he talks about a lot of that stuff. But going back to that lieutenant colonel who was in the Marine Corps, after he came out with that video calling out poor leadership, I think he was kicked out of the Marine Corps, and was he stripped? I think he was stripped of his rank too, right?
Yeah, they tried him at Leavenworth. So that's like
nice.
Big military jail. That's like the block. The D block.
In the military.
Yeah. But he fought the case and he won it. So
Did he?
Yeah.
That's good.
So he's not in jail anymore. So
Mm-hmm. And I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why the military tried to charge him. Was it for, like, insubordination or something like that? Or
yeah, so they kind of felt that he wasn't trustworthy anymore because he's talking bad about his superiors.
Yeah, that's the thing that's fucked up, like, about the military.
Yeah, even though they probably know he's right. Well, I don't know.
Yep. Because Big Army says, no, you can't talk bad about your peers like that. Now it makes our organization look bad.
Yeah. But then you have Ranger School where you have peer evaluations and stuff.
Yep.
Like,
and yet, so it's like very, how do you say it? Not, like, it is counterproductive too, but it's very, what the hell is the word?
Contradictory?
Contradictive. So it's very contradictory, right? To the narrative. So we always have like peer evals and stuff like that in the military, but then when it comes to actually evaluating your peers and giving them more than just constructive criticism, because this lieutenant colonel, he wasn't quite giving constructive criticism in particular. It was more of just like straight criticism.
Yeah.
And well, I guess in some ways you can look at it at that, like constructive criticism, but then
the thing I don't like about it was it wasn't as professional, the way he went about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he kind of could have been behind closed doors at first, you know,
Mm-hmm.
kind of notified first, and if nothing happened, then he could escalate it to a kind of a public hearing.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he did that first. Maybe he did. I don't know.
That I don't know either. So
Yeah, so like maybe he did.
we don't
but,
know that.
Yeah.
So,
So maybe he did do that first, and
Yeah.
if he did, then he took the right path. But
Yeah.
if he just went ahead and made a viral video about it without trying to speak with higher ups or trying to do anything about it behind closed doors, then he definitely went about it wrong.
Yeah.
Because then the military always stresses that you should go up the chain of command,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you have issues that you want to bring up to them. But so I think that might have been like one of the reasons why they were charging him, because the video looked as if it was unprofessional because he is a man in uniform, and you know, giving your thoughts while you're in uniform on video and putting it on a platform is something that is highly frowned upon.
Yeah.
And so I think what the military thought was that he conducted himself in a manner that went against the Marine Corps values.
Yeah. And
in a way.
like the military, UCMJ and all that stuff.
Yep, and UCMJ. And so I think that's why they really tried to get him at Leavenworth. But, you know, it's a good thing that he won his case, though.
Yeah.
But
there's one thing I gotta say, you know, if you're going to the military, don't try to bring in politics behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that you're gonna come in to the military and gain a bunch of, let's say, merit and stuff, and afterwards you leave and try to become a like political figure. Or no, while you're in, I'd say while you're in. Don't say like that gives you one. I don't know. I just don't like it when their main goal is to go in the military to kind of boost their figure as like political views. You know?
Kind of like put their beliefs onto like a pedestal by using the military.
Yeah.
To boost those beliefs.
Yeah.
And kind of trying to like maybe even like spread those beliefs.
Yeah.
In a way, indoctrinate others.
Yes. Like the military is not a place for that. Like if you're gonna be in there, you can't even use your voice while you're in the military.
Yeah, you can't. You cannot voice your opinions about politics. I think you can, but it has to be outside of uniform. But I don't know if you can go on social media and be like, oh well, you know, I believe in President Trump and stuff like that while you're serving.
There's a gray area.
Yeah.
But like that, it's very strict.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can protest, but just not in uniform.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you'd be watched. Like, you are still a like military member, so you know you can't do things. You might get caught up in things in which might take you to jail or whatever, and that's a problem. So there's a lot of gray area.
I think, well, the big thing about the military is that you're held to a standard of neutrality.
Yeah.
So you have to remain neutral. And so, yeah, you know, there's a lot of the troops who go out and vote, but one of the biggest reasons why I've never voted before is because, you know, I do have my beliefs, whether that lies with whichever party, you know, but you know, my political beliefs, I don't think that's something I should ever that like it's something that I don't want to discuss. I mean, honestly, I don't really have like a political belief, anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not left or right, red or blue, or any of like the other smaller parties. But I think it's like a lot of people, I think they're kind of taken aback, or like they're surprised when I tell them that I don't vote.
Yeah.
And I always tell them that the reason why I don't participate in voting is because the military has drilled into us that no matter who your leader is, you should serve them without question. And you have to maintain a level of neutrality. So whoever is your commander-in-chief, that's who you serve. They won fair and square, unless you're Trump, because Russia. I was kidding. And so it's really the upholding democracy, where the people vote for whoever they want to be in office, and whoever wins, that's the person that we serve. And so I have always maintained that level of neutrality. And when people tell me, oh, well, it's so important to vote, you should go vote, I'm like, yeah, I know how important voting is, because I gave up, you know, like millions of us literally give up our freedom so that you guys can vote. So don't think that we don't know the importance of voting, because we do. And of course we do care about who our leaders are. And if you want to leave it to the people to do the voting for you and see what the outcome is, then by all means, you know, like, let them, you know. And I think that's kind of the way that I look at it.
Yeah, like, because if like you creating that neutrality of it all is very unbiased. So like for the military, if you're a military member, you gotta keep that unbiasedness to like kind of create the steward of profession. So that meaning, if you're very unbiased, you can be trusted by the people. Like, you want to be trusted by the people. That's why you don't pick sides. You become neutral. That way, you see a liberal walking down the street in need of help, they're not going to be like, oh, you're in the military, you're probably a conservative. You know, you want to keep that neutrality. You want to keep that face of the military neutral. So that way we're trusted by everyone, our people.
Yep. And a big reason why I remain neutral is because when you serve in the military, you're not just serving, you know, one party, right? You are serving everybody, regardless of what your religious beliefs are, or what your political beliefs are, what race, gender, or creed, or sexual orientation that you have. Like, you are in the service of everybody. And so that to me is a level of being neutral, and also egalitarian, right? So like everyone's equal in their own ways. And so for me, it has always been important to remain neutral. There are some stances that I have strong beliefs on that I absolutely can't remain neutral in, but I don't go out of my way to openly like speak about it.
Pineapple does belong on pizza.
Yo, I'll eat the shit out of pineapple pizza. That actually sounds really good right now. But I'm still full because I just ate like almost 2 hours ago.
Oh, man.
Okay, so I went to Wendy's, right? Because I don't know how I stumbled upon this on YouTube, but then you know how people, they try out like new things on a like fast food menu, and then they do like reviews on it on YouTube. So I stumbled upon a video of somebody eating the like hot honey spicy chicken sandwich at Wendy's,
Okay.
and it looked pretty good. So it has like these crunchy like deep fried pickle chips on it,
Okay.
and it has this hot honey sauce on it, and it's like a deep fried chicken breast, and I think that's about it. There's not much on there, but I ate it today. I'm like, this ain't it, man. I'm like, nah. They made it look so good on YouTube, and I was expecting it to be a little bit spicy, but
You know,
like it was,
you know how Mika spicy.
yeah, like it wasn't spicy at all.
There's black pepper on.
Yeah, there was like because the people that I watched on YouTube, they're like, oh yeah, there's kind of a little kick in here, you know. And I ate it. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the spice to kick in. It did not kick in at all. Literally no spice at all. And I know that I got the hot honey spicy chicken sandwich, and it was super dry too. I was really dissatisfied, and I drank all of my water because it was like so dry.
Yeah. Damn.
And so it was really disappointing.
Is it a large water?
It was like one of those like 12-ounce water bottles or something. So that was really really dry chicken. But yeah, going back to like remaining neutral, that's just been my stance on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in the service of everybody, right? I serve everybody.
Yeah.
And that's your role. You are a servant to the people of the United States. But moving forward from that, is there like any other like bullshit that you've seen in the military that kind of like bothers you?
Yeah, I see a lot of guys working hard that aren't getting slots for schools. That's a shitty moment because, like, you have people that, let's say, for instance, they're put on the order of merit list. So how that works is you complete a couple tasks while competing against a bunch of people, and if you come out on top, then you are selected for upcoming schools. Let's say like air assault school and all that stuff. But then, like how I got air assault school was for re-enlisting. So that's how I got it. Just to make it clear.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, the order of merit list, if you come out on top, you get selected for schools. And there's instances that I saw a couple soldiers, kind of, they got up there, but they weren't guaranteed the schools that they were promised, That kind of pissed me off because, like, they earned it, and they're wondering why people are getting out. Like,
Yep.
maybe shit like that, you got to think about that stuff.
Yeah, so you do get fucked over a lot in the military.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of promises that are made, and they don't happen. And like you said, people are wondering like, oh, well, why is the retention rate so low? Well, it's because of stuff like this. Because one, there's poor leadership and it never gets addressed.
Yeah.
And two, when you do address that poor leadership, a lot of the times nothing gets done about it, and those leaders don't get held accountable. Like, there is that one, I think, that one NCO who yelled at you when it was your first drill with us.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, so that guy's a piece of shit, and all the other NCOs know about it. But then, like you said, it's frowned upon to evaluate your peers and give them that kind of criticism, like, hey, you're treating your troops like shit. You should probably, change your attitude and do something about it. Because they always stress and talk all high and mighty about trying to keep morale at an all-time high. But then how can you even do that when you can't even address the shitty leadership that brings down that morale?
Yep.
And then you have the audacity to ask like why retention is so low. Well, it's because of that.
Why is everyone getting out?
Yeah, like, oh man, we're losing our numbers. Like, well, yeah, there's a reason to it.
Yeah.
People don't get out for no reason.
Then they just lowered the 6-year reenlistment bonus to $12,000.
12,000, huh?
Yeah.
Is it still lump sum taxed?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not $20K anymore. So
Damn,
it's a big drop.
that's a really big drop.
Yeah.
I wonder why they did that.
Maybe they felt a sufficient amount of people came in.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. They finally have enough people now. So whereas the priority is not as high as it used to be, so they reduced the sign on bonus.
Yeah. And a lot of guys like from our unit now, like a lot of them have been staying in, surprisingly. Like
Yeah.
yeah, compared to before, where you got all those guys just dipping, hey, peace out. Dude.
Yep. They had enough.
Yeah.
So
But I guess times have gotten better for the Wisconsin Army National Guard. So
that's good, and that's what I want to hear too.
yeah.
But yeah, with everything that you've seen in the military, I think I can say the same thing too.
Yeah.
There are issues with that, and so, but I don't think I'll go any further into like the bullshit that goes on in the military.
Yeah.
And it's not just within the Army, but it's like widespread. But I think it's probably definitely worse in like the Marine Corps and like the Army, where you have the ground pounders and all that stuff, and the mentality in those branches is you have to kind of like be the tough guys, right, in the military. And so you might have better resources in like other branches and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like if you're smart enough, you go join the Air Force or something, or the Space Force.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like be smart. Be smart, guys. Don't be like us and go join the Air Force if you're smart enough to join.
Just don't join. Go to college.
That's true. Yep. So you extended and your contract. So do you think you're going to retire? Like do your 20 years? Maybe.
That's one thing I've been fiddling around with. So
yeah.
My 6-year contract just started January 14th of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I first started a 6-year, signed on for 2 more. That was 8, and that ended January. So that means my new 6-year contract started.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of complicated, but you're given options of how many years you want to enlist for. So I chose 6, and then after this 6-year put me at 14. 14 years is so close to 20 years.
You might as well just do another 6.
I might as well, but then, I might be old and broken by then. So that's what I'm just trying to get as much as I can now.
Yeah.
But the sooner I decide, the easier I'll have it the next 12 years.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people who do end up retiring in the military, they probably didn't know that they were going to retire in the military.
Yeah.
But then you just have to play the years like by ear and see how the conditions may improve or how they may drop, and just kind of go off of that. And if you like it after 12 or 16 years, whatever, then, maybe you will retire after 20 years.
Yeah. So like what I did was my first contract, 6 years, I was midway through, I decided I want to reclass. So I was like, okay, I'm going to become a 12 Bravo where all my buddies are. I want to go to that company. So I did that, reclass, saw you guys. That was when Franny went to...
OCS? Oh, no, ROTC.
ROTC, yeah. So he left that company, so I didn't see him. But then I was like, okay, maybe I'll stay in if I reclass. So I reclassed. I was like, okay, this is good stuff. I like it. And then it got to my 5th year. I was like, nah, dude, I'm gonna get out. I'm tired, dude. And then some of my NCOs, they talked to me. Of course, we went to a bar, got a little drunk. This was after AT. And that was after I came back from Finland, by the way. And we should talk about that later.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we can, man.
So where was I? Yeah, at a bar. Went to a bar. Like we usually go to bars after annual training. Like that last drill. That's when everyone's full team cohesion.
Yeah.
Everyone's like
we're finally done with the shit.
Finally done with the shit. Now we can kick back and relax. So we did that, and then kind of got talked into re-enlisting. Kind of sucked, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Might as well do it. Yeah, so I re-enlisted for 2 more years. I was like, I'm just going to do 2 just so I can test the waters to see, finally try, get promoted. And then that's when I got promoted right after. So, yeah. Now I'm just got to decide if I want to stay in for the last 6 years after my this 6-year contract. So
I feel like it's gonna go by quick.
Hopefully.
Because like the thing about getting older is that every year just goes by faster and faster.
Yeah.
And that's like pretty scary. So, but yeah, dude, tell us about Finland. Like, how was that? I know you told me like some stuff, but I think from what you told me, it was a pretty fun experience.
Yeah, it was great. It was more of a vacation than anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got when was this?
2019? Because it was before COVID, I think.
Yeah.
Or no, 18.
2018. Yeah. This was March or May 2018. Yeah, so our unit was asking a couple guys to volunteer to go to Finland for a security mission. So it was pretty cool because we were not guaranteed for selection, but I got selected. So I was like, it was either I go there or the border, where Nate got fat. Yeah. But yeah, that's I chose I chose Finland. So a lot of people didn't get it because they supposedly did not want to go AT.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So they chose the ones that would do both.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, I don't mind that. So I went to Finland. It was me, Nick, and a few of those guys. So yeah, our main mission was to guard UAV pilots or UAV drones for this other company that we're part of or in the battalion. And yeah, we had like 12 people there from our security group, and we all basically had rotations. So one group we'll do like 12-hour rotations. One group would do days, one group would do nights, and then we'll swap and so on. And then if you're not on duty, you have time to do whatever you want. So we could travel. So like some of our guys went to Norway, some of our guys went to Sweden, and then one group actually went to the Russian border and turned around because we all had rental cars. We had like 3. And then it was funny because like you could drink as long as you're not driving, you can drink in the car. So they were like just piss hammered and driving around doing that shit.
Mm-hmm. What else are soldiers gonna do besides get piss hammered?
Yep. And then I think it was me and you remember Hansen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went to Norway. So we like keep in mind we'll have like kind of like one day to do whatever we want. So we would drive like 9 hours up north to Norway.
God damn.
Well, like I think it was 9 hours round trip.
Okay.
Round trip, sorry. Yeah, so we crossed the border. There's like these border patrol there, like for their country, Norway. They were like, "Do you guys have any beer?" And we're like, "Shit, do they leave any beer in here?" Because like because they always drive around drinking. And stuff. So we're like, "Oh shit!" So they like opened the trunk. So we opened the trunk and we're like, "Oh god, there's no beer." I'm surprised they care more about importing beer than like drugs and stuff. So yeah.
So they wouldn't let you guys through in case you guys had beer.
Yeah, we couldn't transport beer.
I thought the security guards wanted to drink beer.
Oh no.
Yeah, man, we've been on like an 11-hour shift and we just want to drink at work, bro.
Like you know how the Mexican border and like the border patrol and all that, there's like big stations.
Oh yeah.
And like tolls, what it looks like. Boy, this one was just a car and like a chair and then like just a road.
Oh really?
Yeah. It was nothing crazy, but that was funny because it's such a different experience. But yeah, and after like we went to I forgot what it's called, you know, because all the titles of the places are in Finnish. So, but we went to this one state park, I guess you could refer it to. But a lot of it we saw like old World War II like German dugouts and stuff, like foxholes, German foxholes. And that was when they were trying to invade Finland couple thousand, 100 years decades ago.
Back in the middle, the
Dude, I'm
medieval
bad at
times.
history, man. Also bad at math. But yeah,
That's pretty neat though to see all that.
yeah, dude, it was crazy.
Mhm.
It was like an old logging area because there was a bunch of like logging fortresses and stuff.
Mhm.
So that was cool to see, and I actually made a lot of money going there, more than I'm supposed to get.
Yeah, because they give you guys an allowance, right, to spend on like food and stuff.
Yeah, so like per diem, they'd give us like 90 or 100 something euros per day.
Mm-hmm.
So that if you don't use that, it racks up, and
Mhm.
you just keep it. So yeah, and that and BAH, your time away from home, basically. And yeah. And then we also, what did we do? We hung out with the Norwegians. They're pretty cool. Those guys were, what is it? Yeah, we actually bought like food from like this grocery store. It's kind of weird. They have like only one chain of grocery store. Like it's one chain.
So it's basically like just a Walmart everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much. And then maybe because we were just out in like the boonies, kind of.
Uh huh.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of the grocery. We bought a bunch of groceries, and then we brought it to the area where they're doing the NATO training exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw a bunch of Norwegians grilling. So we're like, hey, can we grill with you guys? We have a bunch of food. We don't have a grill though. They were like, yeah, man, just come throw on some steaks. So we're like, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to do their accent, but I can't do it. But yeah, made good friends with them. I actually swapped patches with one of the guys. He gave me the Norwegian Signal Brigade patch. And I gave him our lame red arrow.
30-second infantry.
Yeah. Then I gave him one of my cool USA patches. The flag.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really cool souvenir.
Yeah.
So like, when you told me that you guys were, because it was just a joint training exercise where you guys were basically you guys were kind of like, what was it, like protecting the UAV pilots?
Yeah, they're drones.
Drones.
Yeah, so Delta Company had all the military intelligence. That's their company.
Mhm.
We have. I think there's like 4 UAV drones. They're like probably the small. I forgot the nomenclature for it, but yeah, they're because we're sitting at like a small airport, probably as big as the Wausau Municipal Airport.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not even that big, but yeah, we sat there. It's either we're there or we're at the actual like TOC area, like or their operations center,
Mm-hmm.
which was like in their base.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time I was at the small airport, and our job was just to make sure no one touches our shit. So, but then we did have an instance where there was a drone that flew into our AO,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had just reported it out. We didn't have guns or anything, so that was kind of dumb. Pointless. Like, okay, if we're like, if someone confronted us, like, give me your UAV drones, we'd be like, okay. It's like, what can we do, Shit, like, even the conscripts that were with us, they didn't have shit either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, I think they just had a radio.
Mm.
Yeah, but they had like, I guess you could call it NCOIC, where he had a Glock 17.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, because it just reminded me. I think you told me that they told you guys not to drive to like the Russian border because there were like Russian drones
yeah, well, because
around there.
yeah, the Russians, their cyber like technology is pretty advanced.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of times they could hack your phone when you come in the vicinity of their like hacking shit, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to call it, but like it's some tech shit. But yeah, that's why when that one group that went to that border, they were kind of like, oh shit. They're like, yeah, we remember we weren't supposed to go that close because of that. So they quickly turned around. And then there's actually, it wasn't me that encountered this, but it was a few of the other guys from a different company.
Mm-hmm.
They were, because they were staying in a hotel down the road from us because we were in the cabins, and then they had a swimming pool, and they were just randomly approached by this person asking a bunch of questions, and then later it turned out to be they're like Russian agents
Damn.
and stuff. So that was pretty intense, I guess.
So, do you know if the Russian border that they went to was, like fenced up or anything? Like, how does their border look like, or can you just walk in?
No, it was it had like an entry control point.
Oh, okay.
So ECP for you military folks. But yeah, it had one of those. I saw it on the map because I was searching up what route they took just to see, and I was like, oh hey, there it is. You know, but there's actually like an entry control point where it's guarded, and it looks like a lot of that area is fenced off too, and covered by forest, so it's kind of difficult to get in.
And I think you told me that they took a picture of the border.
I think so. Yeah. They took a picture of it and quickly turned around.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah, dude. Oh man.
But when are soldiers not doing stuff, or when are soldiers not doing stuff that they're told that they're not supposed to do? You know, it's like they always do shit that they're not supposed to. Because I mean, it's like you're going overseas for a joint training exercise. Like you're going to want to do stuff that kind of is rebellious, right? Because you know that might be a once in a lifetime chance to do shit like that, and so you go out of your way to do something stupid like drive to the Russian border when they told you to not go to the Russian border. So I think that definitely would have been a fun thing to do, but definitely really risky too.
Yeah, like you gotta take it seriously at some point.
That's true, and especially with all the chaos going on now between Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
So, and that's the scary thing too. The U.S. hasn't fought a modern military in a long time.
Yeah, like close combat like that.
Yeah, so because we shot at fucking mountains, like how many meters out in Afghanistan and Iraq.
We haven't fought people in their own uniform. You know, it's like random insurgent groups. So it's not like they're. Now it's like this is conventional warfare now.
Exactly. So conventional warfare. That's the word I was looking for. And back even in like Desert Storm and in Vietnam, Vietnam was very scary because that was actually very close quarters combat. And we were fighting a very, not so much advanced military, but then we were fighting a very capable enemy military. And with Desert Storm, it was very similar to Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff like that. But then they weren't really modern militaries where, they had aircraft that could go up against our own. They didn't have warships that could go up against our own or like even nuclear arms, and like anti-aircraft like weaponry and stuff like that. And so I think that if we ever fought a military like that was on the same level of like modernism as the United States military, we would be seeing the same amount of casualties that we saw back in like Vietnam.
Yeah. Because
when you look at the Ukrainian Russian war, they've already lost thousands, and the war has only been going on for over a month or something like that, because they invaded in February.
Yeah, I remember when I got to just finish air assault school, and they invaded.
Yeah, so February, Ukraine got invaded, and I think a lot of people don't know this, but then the Ukrainian-Russian conflict has been going on for a really long time.
Oh yeah,
really long time. Because because Crimea got annexed in 2014, so Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine, and then there were also some provinces, what is it called, like the Donbass Oblast or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So like one of those. So like there were a couple conflicts in certain regions of Ukraine between Russia and Ukrainian groups, and also like pro-Russian separatists and whatnot. And so conflict in Ukraine has always been a thing for years and years now, but it hasn't become mainstream until an actual invasion, a Russian invasion, on Ukraine. So when you have such a large scale encroachment like that onto another country, then it becomes a worldwide thing. And so yeah, it's pretty crazy because I think Russia has lost like 3 or 4 thousand troops already.
They lost a lot.
Yeah,
I think the casualty rate's higher
on the
for
invading
Russians.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause-
And typically in history too, the invading side always suffers more casualties
yeah.
because you're the invaders. And
You're going to the home front.
yep. And so when you're the defenders, defenders historically they always have less casualties than the invaders do,
Yeah.
because then you fortify yourselves. Whereas you have to, if you're in the invaders, you have to like attack those fortifications, right?
Yep.
And so you're putting yourself more at risk.
Dude, Russia's getting their ass handed.
They're getting their ass handed to them.
See their fucking tanks and shit just being blown up.
Just laying all over the street. Yep, they're losing those tanks by like the dozens.
Yeah.
I think they already lost like a few hundred tanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ukraine is definitely doing like a pretty damn good job. And also you have the Ukrainian Foreign Legion now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where you have a lot of people.
They got people from the U.S.
Yep.
All over the world.
All over the world, even people from like Japan and Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
They signed up to fight in Ukraine.
Oh, I saw this one Korean Navy SEAL. Like he signed up for it too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Is he the popular one that everyone?
I think so.
The one who always wears the sunglasses.
Yeah.
And he's like buff as shit. He's the one that can speak English really well, right?
Probably.
Because I've seen him on a lot of like KBS shows, like the Korean Broadcasting Service or whatever.
Yeah.
So like he's on a lot of those popular TV shows and stuff like that. So I think that might be him. Maybe, I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, I should look that up. I forgot what his name is though. But yeah, people all over the world are joining the Ukrainian front, and that's a good thing because that shows Russia that nobody wants to put up with their bullshit. So
yeah,
and Ukraine has been a democratic country for not really that long, really, because only like the mid 1900s or something like that.
Pretty bad at history.
Something like that. They gained independence, and so they're a fairly new democracy.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, that's enough about that. But it was just a scary thought that we haven't fought a modern military in so long. So I think if we ever do, I don't think it's really a question of if, but I think it's when.
Yeah.
So like you have China slowly trying to take over Taiwan, and Taiwan is literally like right under China, like in terms of geography, because they're an island right under, like right below China, so they're very, very close to each other. And Taiwan is super small too.
Yeah. But
then they're one of our allies too, and so I think they have really strong ties with the United States, and we supply them with weapons and with like funding and stuff like that. So you have like China, who's a threat, North Korea, and Russia, the other big contenders when it comes to like world power and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's a matter of when, and when it does happen, a lot of people are going to die. So all right, guys, so that brings us to the conclusion of this episode of the Let's Slam podcast. So again, thanks, Chris, for coming on to my podcast and for doing this with me.
Oh yeah, no problem, man.
I had a lot of fun today, and you're going to be my first guest on this show. Well, excluding the pilot episode that never came out with Jerry. So that's really unfortunate. But just like in terms of like editing it, nothing was working with it, and so I had to scrap that. But yeah, again, thanks for coming on to the show, and again, huge shout out to my subscribers. You guys have been the best, and thanks for supporting me for the past couple months. I will see you guys again on the next episode of the Let's Slam podcast. Deuce.
Bye.